we finally realized that we just weren't going anywhere with that, and we kind of thought, well, why did we start this company in the first place? And we're like, well, it's because T-splines is better than NURBS. We're thinking about really why people use NURBS, and one reason is because they're very precise. They can be manufactured, and animators don't care. They just care about things looking good. And so we were thinking, well, what industry cares about things being precise and manufactured? And then we went back to that kind of product development process slide that I showed you where, I mean, that's the industry that we need to go after, industrial designers and engineers, because they care about things actually being manufactured. So we looked at that industry, and we found another company that we could write a plugin for. It's this company called Rhino. And this was a wonderful, even cathartic move for us for all sorts of reasons. Maya was a product for a company called Autodesk. They were big. They didn't care about us. They charged us money if we wanted to use their marketing channels, and just didn't really care that we were there. This product, Rhino, was by a much smaller company. It was still the market leader in their segment, but their programmers would rewrite sections of their code so we could fit in better. Their CEO would talk with me on the phone. They would let us market for free to their customers. And most importantly, their customers actually cared about our product. So when we got our first beta product up for T-splines for Rhino, the first day, we had all of these posts on our forum with people saying, welcome, we're so glad that your product is here. And we never got any of that with T-splines for Maya. It felt like we'd been dating girls that didn't care about us for years. And finally, we found out who we were a good match for. And so with Rhino, it was really good. We figured out that really there is a market for T-splines. And so we went through 3 versions of this product. The first one just kind of proved the concept that this actually is a technology that solves people's problems. Then the second version, we realized, okay, it does solve a problem, but we do need to improve the user interface because it was really just kind of still raw technology. And then that whole that same kind of battle between increasing the user interface of our product versus commercializing more technology was a battle that we faced throughout the rest of our company, because the T-splines technology, as you saw from that overview of the product development process, really has the potential to cover the entire product development process. And my dad was still pushing the research forward in there, but we were a bootstrap company. We didn't have a lot of resources, so we had to make these decisions. Do we improve like how our customers can use our product today and go for kind of singles, or do we go for the home run and hope that we really hit it big? We tried kind of going for the home run a few times, and then I got kind of gun shy, and I was like, well, we need to actually have a company that's alive in a couple of years. So for most of the rest of our company, we focused on improving the little bit of technology that we'd already commercialized. So the downside with T-splines for Rhino is that we'd gone into there, again, not really with much of a business plan. We were still just trying to solve technological problems. And so after doing that for a few years, and I started hiring more people to help me, we started focusing more on sales. Growing sales was a little bit hard to do. When you're writing a third-party add-on to other software, then like a good penetration level is maybe like if you penetrate and get in like 5 or 10% of the seats of the number of copies of that software that are sold, that's a really good penetration level. And we were at maybe 1 or 2%, but even that's a really good penetration level. And so we're trying to figure out how we could continue to grow our sales, and a lot of it was with we'd sell most things online. We'd analyze like if everyone that came to our website, we'd always Google Analytics, and then we were averaging about 5% of those would download a free trial, and out of those people, then about between 3 to 5% would end up buying. We tried everything we could to try to tip those needles. But the bottom line was we were selling product that you paid for once. It was $650, and then you got a perpetual license. And then we'd come out with a new version maybe in 18 months, and then if you wanted to, you could pay $200 for an upgrade. But what that meant was that every month we needed to like come up with all our sales from scratch. There was no recurring revenue. So the third product that we commercialized was this product for a company called SolidWorks. So again, going back to that product development process, we realized that we'd finally made inroads on the industrial design part, and then they passed that data on to an engineer using CAD software. And but again, with every other software, they had to completely redo that model. And we thought, wouldn't it be cool if someone could make a model in T-splines and then push that model into the CAD software, because the type of models that you make with T-splines are those free-form curvy models, and that's really hard to do for an engineer, and if they could just reuse that data, that would save them a lot of time. So SolidWorks was the market leader for CAD software. So that was the place that we identified to make our next software for. And we talked with all the CAD softwares for years. There's only about 5 or 6 big ones. And so every year we talk with them and be like, don't you want to license T-splines? And they'd be like, no. The next year we'd be like, don't you want to license T-splines? And so we talk with them, but each year they'd be more and more interested. And then our whole concept that T-splines was introducing of having these free-form organic models started to catch on. And so then later on, then they'd be like, no, but we're thinking of doing something competitive, which in a way was a really good validation for us, because it's always going into an industry and not having competitors is not always a very good idea, because maybe that means there's no market.